Just good evening, sir.
Good evening. Glad to be with you.
Ambassador, it just seems like a pretty straightforward timeline to me. Al-Qaeda reconstitutes itself as ISIS, starts pretty much in Syria, moves to Iraq, then it moves on to Indonesia, Philippines, Libya, Egypt. It now marries Boko Haram in West Africa. We've got British girls going down to join Syria, plus other Brits. We've got Americans going, people from the Caribbean going. I mean, what part of this isn't like a huge wake-up call to everybody that we're in deep trouble on this?
Well, clearly things are getting worse, but you've yet to hear any acknowledgement of that from the administration. And I think the political significance of the affiliation, I'll just call it that for now, between Boko Haram and ISIS is quite significant. It's an enormous signal to have basically a black African Muslim caliphate allied with an Arab caliphate. It's hard to say operationally what it will mean, but I think they could share intelligence, they could share experience and training and methods, and I think it will facilitate terrorists coming into Europe and the United States. And it's a further sign that ISIS's reach is growing. It's a brand that's expanding. Maybe Al-Qaeda is contracting. These things go through cycles. But the geographic reach that they've now established, I think, is pretty worrying.
When you talk about what they're sharing, I mean, even look at their method of communication. You've got Boko Haram pretty much copying or mirroring a lot of what ISIS has been doing in terms of, like, even their terrorism, their beheading. They started to do that just like ISIS was doing. And Boko Haram has just been running wild through West Africa. We've still got those 270 schoolgirls that everyone was wearing hashtag bring the girls home, and everyone's just forgotten that, apparently. I mean, nobody's really paying attention. I mean, this is growing bigger in West Africa.
Well, I think what's happening all over the Islamic world is that this wave of radical fundamentalism is continuing to build. It has not crested. It is not receding. And I think this is analogous to Europe after World War I, when you had communist and other radical movements breaking out in country after country. Obviously, the Bolshevik Revolution succeeding in Russia, not so much in some of the other countries. But there's a lot of flux going on, but the momentum is all still in the radical direction. And I think General El-Sisi in Egypt, among others, very worried about this continued threat.
All right, it's just that the good sign is that Tikrit looks like the Iraqi forces, although joined with the Shiite militia, the Iranian forces, is taking back Tikrit. Is there any others, as we look at the globe, is there any other place where we're winning on this one?
No, but let's be clear who's winning. It's true that ISIS is losing. I think Tikrit will fall to the Iraqi government. But what that means is it's falling to radical Shia Islamicists. The government of Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. It's the largest financer of terrorism in the world for 35 years. It's the one that controls the government in Baghdad. It's the one that's financing, arming, and training the Shia militias. So the victory here is a victory for one terrorist group over another terrorist group.
Indeed, it certainly is. Anyway, Ambassador, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.